All right, let's get right into it. Today we're going on a journey, but this isn't a trip to some physical place. No, this is a journey to a different state of being entirely. It's a story about what it takes to break free from the systems that try to define us and how to become the architect of your very own reality. And it all kicks off with this incredibly powerful statement. This is the most selfish thing I've ever done. You can just feel the weight of that, right? This isn't some casual choice. It's a deep, profound refusal to live a life that isn't true. The stakes? Absolutely everything. Your own soul, your own truth. So where does a journey like this even begin? Well, it starts inside the cage, inside what feels like a structured, maybe even a safe system, but one that's ultimately really restrictive. The good old concrete jungle. Now, to really get a handle on this system, the source material we're digging into gives us a pretty specific example. Think about the world of corporate software, symbolized by this kind of sterile, jargony language. Enterprise producer management, insurance automation. It's a world that's totally impersonal, designed to just reduce everything you do into a controllable, predictable workflow. And it's not just a job, right? It's described as something much bigger, an oligarchy, a kind of structure that wants to define you by your function, by what you do, not by who you are. A world where you're basically a component, something to be managed and automated. And this is what's happening on the inside, this chaotic, almost desperate, but kind of beautiful inner monologue. It's the sound of a mind scrambling, trying to figure out the difference between friend and enemy, love and conflict, all while the world outside is trying to flatten everything into one single gray process. So what do? You make a choice. You decide to leave. And this isn't just about quitting a job. It's about setting out on a pioneer's path, literally stepping out of the world you know into the complete and total unknown. This whole personal quest is framed like a modern-day Oregon Trail. I mean, think about it. Just like those pioneers who showed up by steamboat to start a grueling 2,000-mile journey, this is about leaving everything behind. That corporate security, the defined roles, all for just the hope of a more authentic life on some new frontier. But here's the thing. Just because you leave the system doesn't mean you're free from it. Not by a long shot. The journey actually forces you to confront its echoes, both out in the world and, inside yourself. You start seeing the flawed code absolutely everywhere. So part of this journey involves realizing just how unstable official stories can be. The source material uses this timeline as an example of how a public narrative can shift and change over the years. Now, the main point here isn't the specifics of this particular story itself. It's the observation that the narratives we get from these big systems, well, they can contradict themselves and evolve. It really highlights the idea that the reality we're often sold isn't always as fixed or stable as it seems. And this brings you to the core conflict. It's like a battle between two completely different sets of code. On one side, you have the system's rules, which can be so rigid, right? Looking at a child through this cold lens of what official records say you owe. But then, on the other side, you have natural law, the simple, sovereign truth of love between a parent and their child. It's just a massive clash between sterile procedure and profound human purpose. This whole confrontation with the darkness, it's a crucible. And it's perfectly symbolized by this, the veil tunnel. It's a long, dark passage. But what's the one thing that defines a tunnel? The promise of an exit. That journey through it, facing down all those echoes of the past, it's a necessary test of faith before you can finally reach the light. And once you make it through that darkness, something really shifts. You stop just seeing the system's flawed code, and you start to see a whole different code hidden underneath it all, a kind of secret blueprint. So what is this blueprint? Well, it's the idea that the universe is actually providing guidance using signs and symbols. It's not all random. Suddenly, the right person appears exactly when you need them. You start seeing the number 1111 everywhere as you begin a new chapter. A monarch butterfly, the ultimate symbol of transformation, crosses your path right as you cross a state line. These aren't just coincidences. They're confirmations. And this new way of seeing, well, it reframes everything. All of a sudden, a national symbol of imperfection, that famous crock in the Liberty Bell, is no longer just a flaw. It becomes this profound metaphor for a lost connection, a healing frequency that our society maybe once shared through bell towers, a sound that has long since gone silent. And then, boom, the universe just delivers the ultimate confirmation. You come across a plaque on a Liberty Bell reproduction, and it's not just some historical marker.
it feels like a direct message. It reads, "Dedicated to you, a free citizen in a free land." The entire purpose of your journey is literally spelled out for you, etched in stone.
After a journey like that, you don't just go back to your old life. You can't. You arrive at a new one. You become a sovereign being, defined not by any system, but by your own living, breathing truth.
So here it is, the transformation in a nutshell. You leave the world of Uncork, that concrete jungle of producer management and sterile rules, and you build the world of the unique unicorn, a place of healing, magic, and personal truth. You go from a managed enterprise to a magical one.
And this brings us to the ultimate statement of sovereignty, the final realization. It's a complete shift in perspective. You are no longer just a character in some pre-written story. You are the author. You are actively writing your truth into existence every single day. So, this entire journey really leaves us with one essential question to ask ourselves. We've seen one person's path from a coded system to a sacred blueprint. So now it's worth asking, what is the code of your reality? And more importantly, who's writing it?